In. How is it going, everyone? Welcome to more Driveclub, and today we're gonna continue on Japan. Started yesterday with it, and well, you're gonna see it in the background of the menu. So I think that's just randomized. It just shows random tracks, but yeah. Sakura is the name of the tour. I already did these events, but there's more. So let's get into it. And we already start with a drift event. At least this one is not called initial drift. Why do they let you? They let you use so many of this. Oh, apparently wait, didn't I use this car once? Like, don't tell me that I use another Mercedes AMG that was also a pre-order bonus that looks exactly the same like as that. Maybe I'm confusing it with another one. Most likely, I wanna believe. Like, the very first car that was a pre-order bonus that I used, wasn't it this one? Maybe it wasn't. Hard to tell. These things really don't make any effort in looking different from each other, so I like the way that the rain looks in this game so much. Really makes you feel like you are in the middle of the rain. You know, in real life, I absolutely hate rain, but like, I can appreciate how nice it looks. Oh, well, that was pretty much no drift. It's okay. That still should be enough. Yes, it is. Obviously, in these drift events, as long as you don't get zero in two different sectors, it should be fine. That's all you need. Alright, so the Spano is the same one as the time trial, right? It's just a race. Yeah, it is the same one. I didn't unlock anything, I think, right? No, I only used it for one event after all. We can use this color. It's supposed to be white. It kind of looked... No, it is white, yeah. I thought it was because of the reflection that it was blue, or, well, like light blue, obviously, but no. It was indeed white. Well, the same color as in the cover. This is all against the other Spanos. Now the question is, this game doesn't really have events where you can only pick one car, but the opponent can pick any other car. Usually the pool of cars that you're allowed to pick is the same one as the opponent can pick. So that's nice, because, I mean, otherwise it could be potentially very unfair. This car looks interesting. I have no clue what the brand is, though. It's one of those cars, just like Pagani, that they do a couple of cars that are very luxurious, very, you know, high performance, and then they fuck off and they don't do other cars for a while. So how is it going, Wasabi? Yeah, we're in Japan. We're indeed in Nihon, the land of the rising sun, except that here there's not that much of a sun. It's fully raining and shit, so not much sun to see, but it's fine. At least we can see the cherry blossoms and stuff. The tracks here look lovely, especially those that make you go through like a Japanese themed bridge. Though, will those bridges even withstand the weight of these cars? Because, I mean, these cars are heavy. They are very heavy. Like, could a bridge like that even support it? The Japanese bridges, the ones that like have that red design and that slightly arc thingy, those are supposed to be for people. So I don't know if they are bridges like that are specifically made for cars. Because if it is the same bridge that people use, there is absolutely no way it can support the weight of these beasts. Like, these cars are simply almost otherworldly, you know? Like, this is pretty far from being the average car. Because when it comes to Japan, for what I understand, the most common type of car is the typical commute car that is, I'm not sure what's the denomination, but it's a very small car that on the back of the car is like it's completely flat. Like, you have a lot of Japanese companies developing those. Though that's the most popular type of car. So for that car, considering that it's, aside from being small, it's probably lightweight as well, maybe a bridge like that could hold it, but these monstrosities that you see in this game, I think, are a different story. Ah, shit. Oh, no. Well, at least this guy, that's not the guy I need to beat. It's the guy that is actually behind me right now. Oh, but there is still one more lap. It should be fine. Surely. Well, no, actually, Todd Brooks, that's the guy on 4th place, I think. You know, we're still fine. Whoop. Yeah. This guy, Diego, is an issue. That's, by the way, also an extremely common first name and last name. Here, I mean. I didn't have any high school classmate with that name, but I could have. I very easily could have. Like, those two are very... Well, Montes is not extremely common, but I know a couple of people with that last name, so... It's common enough for that. Also, the track is becoming extremely slippery. Like, it's becoming very hard to make the car go where I want. I mean, you can see that there are whole pools of water here. We're gonna be doing what it's called aquaplaning, which is essentially that you are pretty much floating instead of actually gripping the asphalt. Oh no. Okay. I ended up winning, that's pretty nice. But I wonder to what extent those water pools are actually physically accurate. Like, to what extent you actually feel that, you know, your car is not gripping anything. Because, wow, that's a lot of experience. Because one thing is having, like, not too much grip because it's wet. But another thing is, like, having essentially no grip at all. Big in Japan is how this thing is called, by the way. Very interesting name, I gotta say. Big in Japan. Well, there is another event to the side of this that is called Small in Japan. Pretty interesting names, indeed. So are these really big in Japan? Pretty sure there are a lot of Japanese cars that Just like these ones are built like tanks. So this Porsche, at least on the rear, it looks very good. Yeah, I'm essentially saying that this Porsche has a very nice ass. In other words. Unfortunately, the front is the same Porsche front that every single Porsche car has. But the rear looks very nice. Have a very nice rear, bro. A very good looking rear. Yeah, that was absolutely free. But as expected from drift events, really. Okay, so that was big in Japan apparently. And we have Nakasendo Run with only this one, with the volcano. No, still no special. Oh, actually, this is the only color you have unless you use custom thingies. Also, why does this car opens from the opposite side? Like, why did they decide to do that on reverse? Of course, you can ask why not, but seems a little bit unnecessary, right? Oh, and it's gonna be nighttime. Seems like an issue. I'm hearing all these cars together. Sounds powerful. Also, is this the first time that I drive on this track? This doesn't really seem similar to the other ones. But maybe, because I mean, the thing that this game has is that it has different places within the same country, but within those places you also have different variants. So I think that this is the mountain pass area, but this is a variant that is a lot longer, pretty much. Ouch. It's something that is very... that... How did that happen? I have to reset that, because... There is an objective that is to live for a long time, but then... This thing could not really keep control, but I think another thing that happens with this track is that it's extremely long. Because I feel like I went for 2 minutes there, and the progress was still at like 22%. That's quite low. Unless maybe my sense of time is warped, will be. Before I had that accident, I was about to say that the typical thing in mountain passes that is essentially those very tall brick walls that are essentially supposed to, you know. Well, I'm not sure exactly what's the function. I'm assuming that it's making the path more stable, because otherwise you could very easily have I don't know, rocks falling. I'm not sure. I'm not a mountain pass builder, so I wouldn't know. Oh, what does that say? Kohakto. I think it says something about tunnel at the end. I mean, the first part, I think it's supposed to be a proper name. Most likely the name of the track. Yeah, I couldn't read it. It came by a little bit too fast. Also, I need to be on the lead for a little bit more. I don't even need to win the race. That's the funny thing. I just need to be on the lead for longer. But we are halfway through the track, so there is enough time to do that. Yeah, nice dive bomb. Surely that's gonna help you. Okay, I cannot really overtake this guy, it seems. But that at least forced him to brake. Then you look at the minimap and look at those corners. These corners are very evil. Hey, extremely evil corners without a doubt. Oh, and we're getting to some sort of garden now. Okay. And into a lake. This is a very pretty looking place. But like most places in the game, I mean, they are not gonna pick places that are ugly. Also, that bridge is where we've been at the start of the track. So it's pretty nice how the whole thing connects. But it's supposed to be a mountain pass. So you can very easily make a track that includes the entirety of it in the same zone. Was pretty nice. What I didn't like is the car though. I don't like the way this car handles. Seems a little bit too... it leans too much into oversteering. And this is gonna be the same track, but maybe in reverse. Yeah, I think it's the same track, but in reverse. Essentially, we did the downhill and now we're doing the uphill. Is that the case? Is that what we're doing here? I wonder if it's gonna be nighttime by the time we reach it. Now, differently from that previous one, here there is less room for mistake, considering there is a face-off that involves beating it. If you don't beat it, you're not gonna have another attempt unless you restart the race, and this is a very long race. So this is dangerous. Especially if they put this face-off challenge right at the end of the track. That will be a problem. And this also will probably take longer than the downhill, simply for being an uphill. Uphills obviously require you to... they will make you go slower, because you need to climb. And on top of that, it's raining. You know that any serious competition that involves somehow going through a mountain pass will definitely be suspended if it rains, especially if it rains like this. If it was a very minor rain with only a couple of raindrops here and there, but this rain doesn't seem very small. Like, this is something that will need to be suspended. Also, how is it going, Marcao? No, I don't have a racing wheel. Don't really have have space to put it. Oh, this is the tour objective. Hold up. It's something that we need to do no matter what, if we don't want to restart the race. Okay, that's the... yeah, we do it. Okay. Does this game even use steel controls? I don't know. I mean, I'm not using them, but I don't know if you even have the option. Racing wheel is a different story though. Because tilt controls, I'm assuming you mean with a gamepad. That is not something that I know if it works, but racing wheel support, it has it for sure. I mean, I want to believe this game has racing wheel support. Would be a little bit weird if it didn't. But yeah, unfortunately, no, I don't have a racing wheel. But as I said, it's mostly because I don't have space to put a whole setup with it. Otherwise, I would have been extremely tempted to purchase something like that multiple times. Because yes, obviously the idea of being able to play these games with a racing wheel is very tempting. But yeah, no, I don't have it, unfortunately. But you know, using gamepad is something that I'm always pretty comfortable with, so at least there's that. The thing about having a racing wheel is that it's small in Japan, by the way. These names are out of control. I could use this thing, considering that it's one of the lock ones by club level, and since it seems that you can only do that here, might as well use it, right? I guess. Yeah, I guess I could. I was about to say, you can buy a racing wheel with force feedback and put it into a desktop, but the idea is that you will want to probably put it in an actual dedicated cockpit. Huh. Okay. My opponent cars are already ahead of me. That's quite funny. I don't even know what car that is. Like, these hot hatch are not easy to differentiate between each other. I mean, especially when what you're seeing is simply a ghost and not the actual full model. But it might appear that whatever car they are using has a higher top speed than I do. Well, than my car has. Not like I'm the one deciding at what top speed I go. Will I be able to do that? Doesn't look like it. Sure, there are some corners I could have done better, but this seems like, for the most part, it's a straight line, so if you don't have top speed, I don't see yourself doing this. But I don't see myself doing this. Right, we'll have to pick another car. So then, pretty fucked up for the car that is stuck behind Club to be so picky. Like, you are supposed to be the best, dude. What are you doing? Alright. So, better top speed. The Audi, it seems. No, actually this one, the Renault Megane. I mean, this is the one that I was gonna pick in the first place, but since I saw that the other one was available, I was like, yeah, why not? But no. This is the one to pick. We reject German engineering to go for a French engineering here, huh? And you believe that the Volkswagen got beaten by the Renault? So I'm still not sure why that car is going so fucking fast, because of the available options, unless my eyes are fucked, this is the one with the best top speed. So it shouldn't be possible that that guy simply does that. Hold on, that was a bad start regardless. Damn it. Because at that point, acceleration, I don't think should be a factor here, right? You are very well into the straight for that to matter, I think. We will see. This I also have my own goals to compare. Maybe this is a bad idea, you never know. That tunnel exit is very fucked up. You cannot really see the corner very well. I'm getting close, but I'm not really that far from my PB either here. Interesting corner. Fuck. It was such a close corner. That should be enough because that was a very good corner exit. We will see though. Yeah, this I think should be enough. Yeah, it was barely enough though. Very close to not being enough. It worked. I'll take it. Alright, well at least we got saved from a time trial that could have potentially taken a very long time. So now we're going to the Sakura trophy. Wait, are these all roofless cars? They are. In the rain, that's fucked up. I guess we can use the VAC mono here, since it's normally not available. Problem is that when it comes to top speed, it pales in comparison to... Well, not really pales. It's there, I guess. Yeah, that was close. I can barely even see the color with the rain. Like, the rain is so intense that it... doesn't really let me see it, well, unless it's a very intense one like that. Actually, this has more colors than I expected. For being one of those weirdo cars. Yeah. That doesn't look very comfortable. Let's see if this works. If this car doesn't betray me. I hope it doesn't. We will see. And this is in the same long track as the other ones. If this fails, we can always switch to the Caterham. Well, either the Caterham or the Ariel Mono. Ariel Mono, no, what was the name? Ariel Atom. That one... But the problem with that one is that the handling isn't very good, right? I think. I think that was the issue. Seems that the Caterham wants a piece. That Caterham seems to be very good in comparison to a lot of the supercars. Not all of them though. Like you have supercars like the Nissan that I think obliterates most of them with no issues. But yeah, this one, the Caterham is very good. This VAC mono also doesn't seem that bad, all things considered. And I mean, especially considering that it's in the middle of the rain. Because if, for example, I was using the Ariel Atom, I don't think it will be driving this clean at all. Like, that car has some very serious handling issues. But this one, even in these slow-ass corners, in an uphill and with rain, seems like it's doing very well. But with rain and lightning on top of it. It's like all the conditions are here to make sure you spin off. But no, This thing is doing well for now, at least. It is one of those club level lock cars, so I think that if you want to use this car anywhere outside this DLC, it won't let you unless you have a club. Well, in my case, I don't really care, because in my main account I do have a club, and I'm pretty sure it has the level to unlock all of them. The lights here look so cool. It really looks futuristic. Oh, it seems that the Ariel wants a fight. You will get a fight, don't worry. I'm surprised that this thing is being so fast. Because the Ariel, for what I remember, has amazing acceleration, but I don't think it has that good full speed, right? And yet it's reaching me kind of like at the end of some of these straights. That is most likely the best. No, I don't know, actually, as I say, that car has handling issues. I don't think it will be the best option. I mean, the AI is making it look like it is, but you know that the AI can do magic when it wants. The AI can sell you on a car that actually is not that amazing. Well, like the Venom, for example. When the AI uses the Venom, it makes sure that it's super good. I don't think it's that impressive of a car at all. Right, so we did the uphill. That was clean. It was pretty clean. If it wasn't for crashing against the other cars, I wouldn't be surprised if this counted as a clean race, like no collisions. So is this gonna be the same but in downhill? No, I don't think so. Where is this? You know, this is a different track. Well, not to mention a track with laps instead of just progress. But this is gonna be the one with the gardens, I hope. That place looks so nice. Oops, my bad. There's also an average speed face-off. So you have 2 attempts, assuming that you cannot do it on the first one. But I'm surprised it's 2 laps. That must mean that the lap is very long, because we haven't seen tracks, or rather races with 2 laps since the beginning of the game, where you were forced to use hot hatch. So the fact that we have these very fast cars this far into the game and only 2 laps means that 1 lap is gonna take a while. Well, I'm not in a hurry, you know, so I welcome it. Okay, the average face-off is gonna be here. And it's almost at the end of the lap. I wouldn't be surprised if it was just this corner. I wouldn't be surprised. It's not like there are not many choices, and that was absolutely free. And surprisingly, you can see an opponent, like a single opponent, that is on second place, very close to me. But everyone else is so far you cannot even see them in the minimap. Like, they are extremely far even. But I think this one is most likely an Ariel Atom as well, right? No, it's actually a Caterham. Well, that's surprising. actually have a Caterham representation. If it wasn't for the fact that this thing is exclusive and I have it available now, I would have picked the Caterham. Of these cars, it's definitely my favorite one. The ones that you can pick in this event, I mean. The roofless cars. I like the way the Ariel Atom looks as well, but I just really don't like the handling of that thing. I don't think being nighttime should prove a challenge here, right? Yeah, we're fine. Don't worry about it. I think. Well, and worst case scenario, the objective is a top 3, so now we're fine. One more corner to go and that's it. Yeah, that obviously counted as cutting the corner. I basically got too cocky with the racing line there. Okay. Well, it seems that my other VAC Mono brothers are not doing very well though. Seems that I'm the only one that is finding success with this. And here a lap time of 1:25. And this is supposed to be in the circuit track. So I think that's the reason why this track doesn't have any sort of flags that tell you, you know, the intensity of the corner. Because it's supposed to be a circuit track. And circuit tracks don't have flags to tell you when to brake. At most they have some signs on the side of the road. But since every other track is supposed to, you know, take part in a public road, they do have those things. Wonder if I don't think any of these tracks is real. It would be cool. I just realized that there is... Oh! Wait, did I make him spin? Or is it the same guy that is there? Actually can't tell. And it doesn't help that, if I'm not mistaken, the Ariel Atom is not allowed to have any other painting, right? So like all of them look exactly the same. With this car, it's very hard to fend off these guys. At least now you know that it's either the Ariel Atom or the Caterham. If one of these type of events shows up again, those are the two choices you most likely want. And if you ask me, I recommend the Caterham simply because it has a way easier handling. See, right there you're seeing an Ariel Atom and then a Caterham right behind. I don't think that we are gonna guarantee the lead here. We will always have these guys behind us. Despite how far it looks like they are, they can close the distance in no time. It's fine. So be it. was a very bad racing line. It's just that I thought the corner was gonna come closer. It didn't. All in all, I'm not doing that bad with the corners. Really. Oh, I think that they had an accident behind. I'm gonna have another accident if I pay too much attention to what's behind and not what's in front. Doesn't matter. That was good enough. So, what are the final results gonna be here? Probably no BAC. Yeah. The BAC mono alongside the KTM is eating shit in the bottom. Though, to be fair, the Caterham, aside from one of them, the rest don't seem to be doing very well. So, according to the CPU, here it is the Ariel Atom, the superior car. So now, you know something that I thought? These bonus paint shops that you get for beating a tour, I don't really think that they are only for one car. I think that you can use them for, you know, all of them. So yeah, have that. So now this one is called Downforce. Pretty interesting name, but what's the main theme of this? Because these cars, I mean, they can have nice downforce, but these are the same cars that we've been using for quite a while. Wait, what's the objective here? Average speed and fast time. Well, I can pick the Aston Martin. This is the exact same car that I use in Gran Turismo 4. I think I use one of the brown colors, right? Not sure exactly which one I pick, but I also like this one, like this, like shiny green. Looks pretty nice. And as you can see, the first race happens in Chapin, so we are still not done with Chapin, it seems. Well, obviously, wait, no, this is not Chapin. I've been lied to. But wait, didn't it look like Chapin on the selection screen? Unless the selection screen stays with the previous race that you done, and it's not related to the one you're gonna do. A little bit weird. There is an average speed face-off that comes right here, as you will expect from this game, right on a corner, on a very slow corner. It was enough though. Now, something that I remember is that this Aston Martin that I used in Gran Turismo 4, I did it on an event that was for European cars, and I think that my main rival was a Lotus Esprit, right? But unfortunately, that's not the same model that is in this game. This game you have the Lotus Exige, I think is how you pronounce it. Or was it the Elise? Actually, well, one of those. Don't know exactly which one. Yeah, one of those for sure. I remember the race being very exciting because the Esprit was way faster than me, but the handling was so trash that I got essentially all of the advantage when I did the corners. I think that those were very good races. Just that if you ask me exactly what part in the playthrough it was, I have no clue. But I just remember it being very nice, and the game also gives you the maximum amount of points, because for the game that race was unwinnable. I guess the race was just exaggerating a little bit. To me, it's always nice to see the same car in two different games. I do remember that in Gran Turismo 4, the handling of this thing was very, very good. Here it's also not bad, like, it's not oversteering or doing anything weird, so that's always welcome. So will this be enough to... Yeah, it should be enough to reach the total time, right? What I wanna believe. I wonder if all the allowed cars in this tour are gonna be performance. I don't know. Will be a little bit disappointing, because even though these cars are relatively fast, they are not as fast as you know, the super and hyper cars, right? Also, you know that today the new Sonic racing game release, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. Pretty nice. So there's something I don't like about that game, and it's that it seems that a lot of tracks have like warps in between the different sections. Instead of being a single track, it's like you go through multiple different tracks, and I don't know, I think that one of the best things about racing games is, to me, how a track is designed. But if a track is basically a Frankenstein of different tracks, I think that that's only nice assuming it's only one track like that. But I felt like I seen multiple that share that characteristic. So not a fan of that. It's fine. Will be worse. Oh, this is a drift challenge. Wait, wasn't the whole point... Wasn't this tour called Downforce? Isn't drift like the opposite of downforce? Well, not the opposite, as they are different concepts. But the point is that a car that has high downforce in theory shouldn't drift, right? But I mean, it could still technically drift, but it kinda beats the purpose of having high downforce. That completely fucked that drift up. It seems that there are a lot of events now that are drift events under the rain. And you can say that might make drifting easier, but I think not quite. I think that, well, I guess it depends on the car, obviously, and which corner we are talking about, but it's because your car ends up drifting towards the wall, since it's kind of like it keeps drifting and nothing stops it, when what you want is drift towards where the corner is going, you know. It's very hard to do that without heavily risking a hit against the wall. Okay. Well, this should be enough, especially since this is a very long speed zone. Like, this speed zone by itself should give me enough points. Yeah, it does. So even if I get 0 points, it's I have enough already. Yeah, don't worry, we're gonna finish the event on reverse. Yeah, no issues there. I mean, why not, right? You're only supposed to get to the end. How you get to the end is not important. This one is called Perfect Ratio for the Koenigsegg. The problem is that I didn't like the handling of this car. Like, I used it once in this playthrough and I wasn't really sold on the handling. But here we don't have a choice, and what's even worse, this is a time trial. So it's a time trial in Chapin. You will see Chapin being included randomly here in a lot of these events. Since now it got introduced on that previous tour, it's now content that like it's always gonna be present, just like the rain, you know? Just like the rain. It's obviously not gonna happen in every single event, but it will always be a possibility. Now, despite the fact that I don't like how this car handles, I gotta say that it's a very pretty looking car. It looks very, very nice. It seems that this time trial is not gonna be that hard, but there is one more corner remaining. Don't fuck it up. Okay, that went well. Well, actually 2 corners. Yeah, that went very well. And that was very free. That was more than 3 seconds ahead of the required time. Well, nice. Because you know that every time that a time trial shows up, it has the potential to be a very big time pit. Wait, the Viper? No way. So the Viper gets introduced here, or was it always here? Unbelievable. So we have the Dodge Viper, just like that. No warning at all, just shows up. Alright. Well, it will have like a, you know, a more spectacular introduction rather than just a random ass event like this with them. Just like that. Well, not to mention, it's on a hot lap event. That can potentially be a very big issue. Oh, and it's in this track. I already had a hot lap in this track, and it wasn't easy. And I remember that back then you were allowed to pick multiple cars, and one of them was the Lamborghini, which I use. Because I'm pretty sure the opponent was using a Pagani Sonda and I couldn't pick that, so I just picked the Lamborghini Veneno and I fucked him up. But here you don't have a choice, well obviously since it's only for a car. So this is yet again another event that has the potential to indeed be quite a time sink. I hope not, but you never know. This will be a time sink 100%. I color it crimson, yeah. This is Sea Viper, indeed. It's just that to me the Dodge Viper looks red. And if we're talking about the racing Dodge Viper, it looks red with a white stripe in the middle. It can also look blue. Like, I feel like those two variants, I think were the ones that were in the PS1 Gran Turismos, I think. You could either use the red white stripes or blue white stripes, and they both look good. In fact, I'll tell you more. I think when I was a kid, I had a car toy that was a Dodge Viper that was blue with white stripes. I think, maybe I'm completely wrong about that, but I feel like I had one like that. Like, I have a lot of pretty nice toy cars from when I was a kid. Back when those things didn't require you to be a millionaire to collect them, you know? When essentially anyone could afford them. But I mean, I can still afford them, it's just that why would I? Because they are way too expensive for what they are. Okay, okay, that was enough, but barely. That wasn't that much of a time sink. I honestly, if this Viper was in the game before, I didn't see it. Like, okay, maybe it was selectable since if it's DLC, I have it, but I don't know if it actually is a DLC. Now we're going for the Ferraris. Wait, did it say Ferrari Italia? Oh, it said India. Damn, I'm completely blind. The race happens on the India. Okay, well, I mean, I could use the Berlinetta, but I really like this Ferrari, dude. This one looks so good, and I'm still keeping it red. Like, I don't give a shit. If it's a nice looking Ferrari, you wanna see it red. So I think that it's really a wasted opportunity that they didn't put the Testarossa in this game. Very wasted opportunity. But it is what it is. Huh. And that sound... that is the sound of a car that wants blood. Well, it's already covered in blood. In red blood. It wants more. Actually, you know that I really wonder how this car looks from the inside? I would imagine it looking all fancy and shit. Well, I expected it to look fancier, honestly. It doesn't look bad, it's just not as fancy as I was expecting. But maybe it's because we are not seeing the seats, you know? Because usually cars like this, the reason why they might look fancy is because they have seats that are like of some very fancy material and also with some very fancy coloring. So this is the kind of car that doesn't really need that, because with the way it looks you can already tell this is a fancy ass car. Also, if it wasn't for the rear wing, this car that is right next to me, at least from the back, it looks quite similar to the Testarossa. But only the back, I don't think the front looks the part. I might be wrong though. Now, I think this game uses its own engine. It is one of those games that uses an in-house engine, which also explains why the game looks so distinctively good, right? It just looks very, very nice. Ah, fuck. Rain is cocking me a lot here, but more than the rain I should worry about the speed objective, because I already went through a whole lap and I couldn't get it. I'm assuming that has to happen. Yeah, it has to happen on the main straight, but if not being able to get it on the first one makes sense, but not being able to get it on the second one is a little bit worrying. Maybe it's because I wasn't paying attention. I'm gonna try to get it here. Yeah, I mean, you basically have to risk it a lot. Like, pretty hard to do that without hitting the wall. Pretty hard. Yeah, I think that this car struggles a little bit with the rain. Or maybe because of the intensity of the rain, because that's the thing. It's not the same, this type of rain that leaves water pools all across the asphalt, than the rain that is just like a little bit of rain, like a drizzle, right? You know that English has a lot of words for the different types of rain. You can call it drizzle, you can call it downpour. It all depends on the intensity of the rain. Well, to be fair, Spanish also has different words like that. Just that, for example, in Spanish, well, the word for rain is lluvia, right? And if you want to say like a light rain, you say llovizna, which is essentially the same word but slightly modified. So I think it doesn't sound as cool. It's fine. I think it's cool enough. Wait, I saw that the cornering face-off say that this is 8,500 points. Or did I see wrong? Because that's an insane amount. Like, for a cornering face-off to be 8,000, it will be one that keeps going for a while. And the issue is that this is a track that it doesn't have laps, so you only have one attempt. That could be problematic. Ouch. Especially if it happens towards the end. Yesterday, in fact, one of the races at the end of the Elements tour, I had to redo it 2 times at the very end. Well, one was because I oversteered, but the other one was because of a face-off event that I failed, and since it was right at the end, it's like I had to do the whole thing again. That means that I needed full focus for this. Okay, never mind, I misread. So it's not 8,000, it's 5,000. It's still quite a lot compared to most of the face-off events, but will be worse. And yeah, I do remember this fucked up section in this track. I remember there was like a time trial with a car, and I kept drifting off on those corners. Right, thankfully that went well. So I don't really need to win this. I only need top 3, but I most likely should be able to win. Ah, shit. Damn it. This car is very drift happy, and here we cannot really blame the rain. Seems that it's very easy to oversteer this thing. And there's even a visible crack on the rear of my car right there. That's the first time I see a crack. And most of the times you should see the car either being like dirty or with some, you know, bruises. But a straight crack, a different story. So what is this? Oh, the shower. And wasn't it enough all the shit talking that I did to the shower yesterday? Like, it comes back for revenge. And in a time trial. In fact, hasn't this been the 3rd time trial in this tour? Isn't that a lot? It's like it could be a lot. At least here you know that the choice of the car is always like whatever, right? Since precisely there is no choice. So whatever you do, it only depends on your skill in the track and not whatever abilities to pick up a car you might have. But if you can even call that an ability. I guess it is an ability to be able to, you know, see what car might be superior to another. I mean, not so much when you have the stats visible to you at any time. Alright, so it seems that here the game wants me to do that section with the chicane at absolute full speed, and I didn't do it. Obviously I didn't do it because I remember there being a race that I precisely lost because of that. Like, I lost for taking it full speed, but since I don't have any other option here. That was an amazing corner. That one, unfortunately, not so much. A little bit too long. Will I survive doing this at full speed? Maybe I can lift the accelerator, but... Yeah, see, that's the problem of doing it at full speed. I knew it. Yeah, obviously, you're gonna go straight to the wall. Well, ironically, that still was faster than what I did. Because you know that you don't need to have a clean lap for your lap time to count. You just need to make it to the end, which I find to be very stupid. I'll take it. You can just do that atrocity that I did and it will still work. Simply because it works. It just works. Yeah. It was still very dumb. Oh, Mountain Pass Norsk? What do you mean by Norsk? Wait, this Camaro wasn't here before, right? Is this a new one? Oh, wait, what's the objective? It's a race. Means that this thing has worse stats on everything, right? I still wanna try it, but it might be a mistake. I don't remember having seen this car before, so it might also have been introduced here. I don't know. You know, this type of cars, like this car in particular, if I wasn't looking at the actual name, from afar I would think that this is a Ford Mustang. Like, it looks as, well, the name and the logo, I guess. See, when you see the Chevrolet logo, it's very obviously not a Ford. Yeah, unfortunately, we are seeing the slight difference play out here. How these little guys are going a little bit faster than me. I mean, that's not a problem in itself, because with how the AI works, I'm pretty sure I can easily win. But my problem is the time objective and the speed objective. I can't believe that. Yeah, the problem of fucking up there is that you are gonna fail the speed objective no matter what. Because I'm pretty sure it's meant to be done on that straight. It's very messed up how easily it is to oversteer in the absolute worst time. That was definitely the worst time to do it. I also probably have to say that this has been the track that I had the most accidents on. Like this mountain thingy. Like this snow mountain track. And that includes the tutorial. Like, I don't know why the fuck they put the tutorial on a track like this. It's like, look at how much you're gonna get fucked. I guess at least it warns you. I think that this might be like one of the most complex, I don't know if track, but definitely the areas. Oh, and actually, well, I reset it for no reason, guys. Well, actually, not no reason. Keep in mind that there is a time objective. Also, Hiroshi, I don't know where you were going, but that's the wall. That's not where you want to go. Alright, maybe this is the one. This is the section. It looks long enough. I just don't know if my car is gonna be fast enough. I mean, it's already struggling to accelerate to the speed that I need. But I will have to... Okay, it worked. Oh, what the hell? It automatically reset me? That was pretty funny. Huh. It's because I think that it's champ enough to go off track. Damn, I'm absolutely getting fucked right now. As I say, I don't really mind if it's first place or not, but Hiroshi is right there. So I cannot afford to be behind him. I do wonder if after those accidents, if the total time is gonna be enough or not. A collision penalty, my ass. They were the ones going slow. That wasn't that slow of a corner, come on. Okay. The problem is that the end is starting to approach, and I'm still not ahead of this guy. Much as I'm trying. Oof, okay. That did work. No, shit, okay, that barely worked. It was a little bit scary at the end. Pretty clearly, if your idea is winning this the easiest way possible, don't pick the Camaro, pick the Corvette. And we're back to the Viper. Well, I can pick the blue variant since I mentioned that we can have it blue or red. Well, in fact, I could put a livery that, you know, has the whole thing in blue with the stripes in the middle. Oh, interesting track. The thing about these short tracks is that they are easy to remember, so you don't get really taken by surprise by the corners. You just remember them. Well, that gave me a lot of drift, actually. It looked like a disaster, but I guess it wasn't. So this is pretty weird. You get the start of the drift here. Well, it worked. Yeah, I don't know. That could have been a problem. Oh, F50. Wait, the one that I picked up was the F40. So this one is very similar, but I guess it's a more modern version. I think it is supposed to be a more modern version. I mean, F40 and then F50. I guess it makes sense. Wait, that's a new objective. Stay in the top 3 for the race. That means that I'm gonna start at top 3, I guess, otherwise it will be... Oh, I start on the lead, in fact. But this is the car that I say that the rear looks similar to that of the Testarossa. That's an interesting challenge, like you actually have to dominate in the whole race. I mean, it shouldn't be a problem. I did that in multiple races already, so I don't think it's gonna be an issue. I don't know why. No, it's because that part on the rear is transparent, but there are some places that you look at that thing and it looks like it's a grass that it's cracked, but like if you look at it with certain illumination, it looks like it's a glass that got cracked, but in reality it's just the engine that is visible. Because, you know, it feels like being visible to make it more fancy. Well, I gotta admit that this car does have an interesting amount of downforce. But I'm still unsure why the tour has that name, because it just feels like a very random collection of events that have really nothing in common in between them. Because yeah, you could say that all these cars have high downforce, but I mean, you can say that about many of the cars in the game. Not just the ones that were available here. It's also weird that they don't really have a description when you enter the tour for the first time. It's like the description. Oh, they have an accident on the like behind me. It's like the description of the DLCs is only in the store when you used to purchase them. But of course that's no longer possible to see. I mean, this game has a wiki where I'm pretty sure that they did save those like promotional descriptions. Now the question is, was that a clean race? Or did I get an accident at some point? No, I guess I hit something at some point. That was pretty free though. These guys didn't even try to approach me. Sweden's finest. So these are the two Koenigsegg. Well, in case there was any doubt, we have the Koenigsegg confirmation that is from Sweden. And this is also one of the DLC cars. But this is a DLC I apparently don't even have. So obviously I'm gonna pick this, but like that's pretty weird, isn't it? Like, this is a DLC that apparently happened after the season pass. But for some reason I'm allowed to use the car here, so at that point I gotta assume that any of the DLC tours like essentially let you use any car without any restriction whatsoever. Like essentially the only time that you get a restriction on what you pick is in the main tour and well, the multiplayer modes that you can no longer play. Well, and also of course the single player modes that don't involve the tours, like the single races, right? It is supposed to be one of the cars I don't actually have. But considering... that was bad. Considering that this is one of the cars that wasn't available in the game at this point of the game, like on this tour, it's most likely that none of the rivals is gonna use it. I really need to do that cornering challenge. Ideally you want to do that when no one is in your way. Wow. Okay, there's something that this car seems to struggle quite a bit with, and it's braking. Oh wait, I just realized. This is an electric car. I just realized that it has no shifts. I mean, could it even be a non-electric car without shifts? I don't think so, right? But unless it was an extremely slow car, I didn't even realize that. But I didn't also bother to check if it said electric engine or something. I mean, the sound definitely does not sound electric. I mean, you could have a car that is electric mimic the sound of an oil engine simply to make it sound cooler, I guess. Especially since a lot of electric cars don't even make a noise. Though compared to the other Koenigseggs, this one doesn't look that pretty. I think the prettiest one is the Koenigsegg 1. That one looks pretty nice. Ah shit. Yeah, that was obviously a corner penalty. This also might be, because I don't know, I think, well, aside from this car, the Regera, I think one of the other Koenigseggs is also a DLC. Thanks for catching me, bro. Okay, that was bad. I don't know if I'm recovering that position in a single lap. I might. There's something that I can tell you is that I also don't like the handling of this car. It's like all of the Koenigseggs in this game absolutely suck to drive. Really can't wait until we get to the Lamborghini tour. Well, in fact, that should happen in the next stream, because it's the tour that comes after the next tour. So it should happen tomorrow. It will be nice. I'm hungry for Lambos. Right. So, by a miracle, I managed to win that. This thing is not very simple to drive. Oh, stay in the top 5 for the race. Well, if I do the same shit that I did in the previous one, that's not gonna happen, but I wanna believe I'm gonna do better. Surely. As long as it doesn't rain. You know that I felt that more than half of the events after rain got introduced, like after the elements, the tour, had rain in one way or another. It's like they really wanted to flex the rain. And I guess it makes sense, because At least if you use the cockpit view, the rain physics are fantastic. It really feels like you're in the middle of the rain. That sign said slow. I guess he was too slow. I wonder in the new Sonic games how many times Sonic says you are too slow. I wanna believe they are not gonna waste the opportunity in a racing game to not have Sonic say that, you know? I also think that that game has a lot of interactions between rivals. Like essentially like every character has something to say about another character unless the character comes from a collab. Like basically every Sonic character has a dialogue with another one. It would have been nice if Miku had dialogue with the Sonic characters, but I guess the issue at that point is that they will have to get the approval of every single IP owner to make sure that the dialogues are within the, you know, within what they are allowed to say, I guess. So it's probably just easier to not do anything and just have the characters as a skin instead of something that has more stuff. How many times have I drifted in this race? Because on the previous one it's understandable because it was raining, but here I feel like every single corner had a drift in one way or another. Because that seems just to be how this car is. Like, trying to keep it from drifting is almost impossible. Like, it just wants to drift. At least I was able to reach the end. Well, that and also use a car that in theory I don't own. That's also pretty nice. That it just lets you use it. Okay. And then the final championship of this tour, where you can pick either the Viper or the Corvette. That's a tough choice, I guess. Hold up, is there any of this? Well, the problem is that I think this is the only one that has a stripe in the center. I mean, it kinda looks like it could be like the typical Viper design. This one as well, I guess. Just that I think it's on the side. While this one... No, this one is also on the side. All of them are on the side. Well, I mean, at that point, I guess just... Yeah, pick... Well, either... I guess I'll pick this one. I do like the Corvette, don't get me wrong, but I really like the Dodge Viper. But rather than picking like this custom liveries, I could just make my own and actually put 2 stripes in the middle. But I don't want to waste time doing that. I know that it's just going to the garage, going to one of the custom things and doing a couple of selections, but I gotta pass on that. Wouldn't say that it's too much work, but I just wanna spend my time racing, not decorating. But I do know that I take a while to pick the color, but that's because it's simply picking a button rather than going to a completely different menu. It's a little bit triggering though to see the 2 stripes not be perfectly centered. Just a little bit triggering. Could be worse though. That was a very bad racing line. You can even call it that. Promise that for this average face-off, I think that I already lost way too much time. No, but it's enough. It actually is enough, thankfully. Okay. I think that garden section with the bridge is probably the prettiest section in the whole game. And this game has a lot of very pretty looking places, so I feel like that one is on a different level. So are the races gonna be in different countries or what? We will see. They are in different countries because now we're going to India. Well, technically the title after the Sakura tour is pretty much clickbait, guys. Even though we are driving in Japan, it's only happening sometimes. Wonder if the 3 races are gonna be progress base instead of lap base. Actually, did we even have a championship that had all progress based races without a single lap race one? I would assume that statistically it at least happened once, but now I have my doubts. Maybe it will be the first time. Who knows? So, you know that the roof of this car from the back kinda feels like something fell on top of it. And it ended up having that shape, but that's how it naturally looks like. I mean, maybe it's just the angle, but it really looks like, I don't know, a rock from space fell into the roof and it left it like that. Left it with that weird shape. I mean, to the point that I thought that in the first race, it had that shape because I crashed against someone, but no, that's just how it naturally looks. Now, what's pretty clear here is that, judging by the straight lines, that the Corvette is faster than the Viper. But yeah, it doesn't seem to matter because I'm not letting them overtake, so, you know. Okay, never mind, the second place was a Viper. I guess he simply had my slipstream and that's it. Oh, this one could be an issue, complete a clean lap. But that means that this is lap base, which means that... Oh, but it's in this track, that should be fine. Should be more than fine. Well, if it's only 3 laps, I'm not so sure though. Well, the first thing that I need to do is get in first place. Because until I get in first place, I'm not gonna do a clean lap, that's for sure. Like, all of these guys are gonna get in my way clearly. But until I get to be the leader, it's not gonna happen. Feels like I'm doing it on purpose, but no. Well, it's not like I'm also putting effort into avoiding them, but just that trying to avoid them is probably gonna make me waste more time than simply, you know, trying to, you know, get them out of my way. So this is a different variant than the one that I'm used to. Slightly different though, but unfortunately didn't manage to be first place here. Like this to also be an attempt, but I cannot have a collision with this guy basically. Surprisingly, that was a clean overtake. Wait, that didn't count as clean lap, why not? Because of off-track, I guess? Because the fact that it's grayed out on the left side of the screen means that this lap no longer counts for clean, but yeah, I'm assuming it was off-track, because I didn't have a collision. It really didn't look like I did off-track. Well, that was off-track, for example. Right, so I need to be especially careful. The problem is that someone crashes me from behind for going slow. I think that that will count as a collision, and obviously that means that the lap will no longer be clean. So it's important to take it easy. See, that could have counted as off track. It didn't, but I guess it did last time. Because I guess that you might not get a penalty, but you can still easily get the off-track point penalty. No, not the speed penalty, but like the point one. That would happen regardless. Okay, this has to be a clean lap. Well, there is still the final corner, but no, we're fine, we're fine. Right, got it. No problem. I guess I just really needed the lead after all. Okay. Well, that marks the end of the downforce tour. So what was the next one? The one before the Lambo? How was it called? So I still don't know what was the theme of this tour. Like, downforce my ass. Oh, midnight. So this is gonna be nighttime on every single race. Well, one of them is literally called Sunset Drive, so probably not. Alright, so the visibility here will be problematic. This is a drift challenge, so might as well pick the Caterham, right? Why not? It might as well. Well, a drift challenge in the rain, apparently. Well, not to mention the Caterham appears also in the cover of the event. Yeah, you're supposed to drift. If you don't drift, you don't get points. How this drift challenge for them. Those lights are very blinding. It looks cool. Really don't wanna be looking at them. Okay, that corner is showing how hard it is. You have a lot of room to drift, so I guess I was just being overly conservative by wanting to do it as close to the inner side of the corner as possible. Well, and in fact I'm doing that pretty often right now. I don't think I'm getting the target unless this drift here is spectacular. I don't think that was enough, right? Oh, it was enough, nice. Barely though. Okay. So I guess it's an interesting idea to have a night theme tour, but considering that there were already a lot of tours that already had this as a theme, I'm not really sure how interesting it is. Not as a theme, sorry, I mean that already had them on its own, right? I don't know how interesting it can be. Like, so far, the most interesting tour has been Elements, simply because it was raining in all of the races, and also some of them were quite hard. Well, the other one I could say that it's interesting is Sakura, but simply because it focuses on Japan. This is essentially the only tour that focuses on one specific country. Well, so far at least. I'm pretty sure it is the only one. And it makes sense since it's where it introduces the country to the game. Now that's a very high speed that you want me to reach right there. But this also looks like an extremely long straight, so it might be on this one. But that is actually very, very fast. It will be enough, I think. Or maybe not. It will be enough. But barely. It's obviously made specifically to barely reach it. So this Alfie guy is a little bit aggressive. What's his problem? What, do you wake up in the wrong side of bed or what? Also, wasn't the whole point of this to be nighttime? This doesn't seem like nighttime. I mean, it seems dark, it seems like it's the sunset. But, well, yeah, I guess that's the point, that it gets in nighttime at the end, but I just don't find that it's an interesting enough concept for a tour. Well, the Downforce one also didn't seem to have anything in particular going on for it. I guess at least it did introduce new cars. I don't know if this one will introduce new cars. So far, these were all cars that were already available. So, yeah. Wait, do you have the special ones? No. Honestly, the special ones are also quite limited, so I think at the end of the day, if you don't do a custom decal yourself, you're just gonna repeat a lot. We already had a time trial in this track with a similar car. Wasn't exactly the same, but it also had that freakish look that this one has. Though it was in a... No, it was in this variant, right? I feel like it was in this variant. Or maybe not. No, I think it might change somewhere here. Hard to tell. The thing is that there are so many variants in this game that look 90% similar to others, and that's because they are 90% the same as others. No, this variant I think might be slightly different and shorter also. Don't quote me on that, I might be wrong. That being said, this was absolutely free, and for the same reason that the other time trial here was also more or less free. It's because the AI doesn't do, or rather the ghost don't do the chicane at full speed, even though you can easily do it, and it's not even gonna count as off track. So I guess they think it's very hard to do that chicane fast. This is the electric one, yeah, it is. Already used quite a lot, in fact. I could try using one of the pre-made custom ones. Well, since it's an electric car, this one seems fitting, right? Well, more than electricity, that kinda looks like... Well, yeah, it kinda looks like it. This is yet again another time trial. At least it's a very creative name. It's called Silent Night, precisely because it's a car that makes no noises. Well, except for the drifts, I guess. I'm surprised at how long that intro was. Why was it so long? I could have also done that chicane faster there. Chicken out a little bit. Close. But I don't think that the other ghosts are doing that well anyways. Like, if anything, I'm doing very good. Yeah, no, this is most likely gonna be free. I think that here it is essentially a glorified straight until the end. Because you have this bridge section that you have to be more or less precise, but it's like nothing in comparison. Yeah, no, it's pretty easy then. That was by 7 seconds, more than 7 seconds in fact. I think this has probably been the freest hot lap that I ever played in this game. I was so free. Light them up. We'll be done with BMWs. Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, use this custom one, why not? I just wish that the special paints were different for each car, like they were specific ones instead of essentially the same one regardless of the car. I don't think I care enough. Especially because so many of these have this ugly ass non-centered stripes. Like, why cannot you have one variant that is centered? That too much to us? So this track is giving me PTSD. It's the one with the Venom hot lap. Well, that is enough, at least. It indeed is. And that's so fancy that this car has the speed projected in the glass. Pretty fancy. Wait, bit 9 what? Hold up. Wait, I cannot do that. Unless they are all... Because bit 9 face-offs... Like, unless you're connected to the internet, you're not gonna get them. Right? Don't tell me that one of these stars is impossible to get. That will be very sad. It will render the whole title to be completely useless. And a clickbait. I mean, I want to believe the face-offs are gonna be provided by the game. But if they require them to appear randomly as online face-off, we are in big trouble. I'm scared. Oh, 13 laps, what the hell? Okay, I was not expecting that. But yeah, I'm assuming that the game will provide them. Damn, 13 laps, this is the longest race so far. Without a doubt, even. Wow, that was absolutely free as a face-off. We need to beat 9 of those. Like, there is one face-off per... per lap. That should not be a problem, especially if they are as easy as that one. That's assuming that they repeat themselves. I believe they will. We also have a lot of time to do the time objective. Okay, and the face-offs seem to be random as well. You have The previous one being an average time one, but this one is, for example, a cornering one that shows up at the end. That's pretty interesting. But I'm not really afraid of the face-offs. I'm more afraid of the lap time. Because I'm assuming that these face-offs are gonna be distinctively free. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but pretty nicely done, bro. They're very good. Oh, and I didn't. Okay. I probably have to restart. I know that I have margin, but if I'm right at the beginning of a long race, might as well restart. I mean, if I was on the final lap, would be a different story. But if I was at the final lap and I didn't yet complete all the objectives, it would have been a problem. Also, was I allowed to pick all the cars? Because for some reason I remember that I was only allowed to pick the Porsche, right? Maybe not, maybe I was allowed to pick all of them. Because here I'm seeing like the Apollo Enrage, the Pagani Sonda, and that's the Quaria, yeah. So the two Paganis. It seems like the face-off events are... Oh nice, I actually got the lap time on the first lap. Okay, well that's one less thing to worry. That face-off in the previous attempt was free. It's simply that I fucked up the corner. But like, the amount of required points for the face-off were like super understandable. Just that every time that I see a cornering face-off, it's almost impossible for me to pay attention to the corner because I do it in an unnatural way most of the times. I don't do it how I would do it. That works. Oh, and another cornering face-off right at the beginning. You can tell that they leave you a lot of room to get this. Oh shit. I gotta assume the face-offs are corner cut are completely static, like they are always the same ones probably. I'm struggling to reach this Pagani Sonda. Like it's just not wanting to get close. This is another cornering face-off. At least if it was an average speed face-off, those are ones that I don't really need to change my behavior at all. But these ones, god damn it, fuck you. That's the issue. I have to do the corners in a very unnatural way. Because yeah, those are supposed to be the optimal racing lines or whatever, but they are only optimal if I like them. If I don't like them, they cannot be optimal for me, right? They can be optimal for someone else, but not for me. At least missing one is not a problem. I think the maximum amount that you can miss is 4, since there are 13 laps. Okay, at least this one is an average speed face-off. That one should be fine. I'm really surprised though that this Sonda, no matter how many laps I do, I still cannot overtake him. I understand that the Pagani Sonda is an extremely fast car and all of that, but holy shit. Wait, this is a... Oh, this is a drift face-off? Well, ironically, I got it, but at the cost of giving back the position to the Sonda. God damn it. I wasn't thinking that there could be drift face-off, but that is a problem, because drift face-offs are very... they will make you waste time, because nobody that is trying to go fast is gonna drift, obviously. That's stupid. Like, you do it only if you want to show off, or here if you want to do the face-off. Though ironically, it might be less distracting than doing the cornering face-offs. So at least I can do the drift face-off wherever I want, with whatever trajectory I want. This is without a doubt the longest race in the game so far. But it is to be expected if you have 13 laps. I think the idea of this event is to show off like a full day-night cycle, like from daytime to nighttime to daytime again, probably. Oh, I didn't get it, no way. Okay, this is starting to look bad, because that's 2 that I couldn't get now. And I only have margin of 2 more. Problem is that this fucking Sonda got in my way again. That's the issue. It's annoying ass Sonda. And he's not gonna leave me alone. That's the main problem. And especially if the face-off require me to drift and waste time. Okay, that's another average speed one. Right at the end, before the chicane, so essentially it's not failing the chicane and you should be fine. Ah, fuck that. I cannot blame the Sonda for that one. It's right before the chicane, like it's essentially just doing that. Just doing the chicane properly. Yeah, that's it. Okay. I still fear, considering that I can only fuck up twice right now. But the next one is a cornering challenge. As long as the Sonda is not overtaking me, I should be able to do it. But the fact that they are so close is very worrying. In fact, I wonder if all of these 3 cars that are behind me are all Sondas, because compared to everyone else, like they are all right next to me, but the other ones are extremely far away, so that makes me think that it's the exact same car. Okay, that worked. Very slow cornering face-off though. Made me waste a bunch of time. On the right side I'm getting a lot of points for doing this, but... Well, at least I don't need to win the race to get all the stars. I need to get top 3. Well, that could also be a problem considering that there are 3 cars behind me. So if I were to have a very bad accident none of the ones that are far from me could ever overtake, but... Okay, that's an Apollo Enrage, that one. Guess the Pagani Sonda is most likely still there, but it's another one of those. There is actually some variety here. It's not the same model. I only need to get one more face-off and I get this. Well, and then the last thing I need to do will be staying in the top 3 until the end of the race, of course. This is an average speed, right? This should be the one I get. I shouldn't struggle with average speed if there's no one getting in my way. Correct. Okay, we got it. Okay, now it's a matter of surviving until the end, which shouldn't be a problem, but that's the thing. You never know when you can get an accident that completely fucks you up, and you have 3 cars to overtake you. You know? Wait, wasn't that the same face-off challenge as the first one? Or maybe it was similar. I don't know. At least I should be able to get a lot of points for this car. This is personally a car that I do like quite a lot, so I'm glad. I almost hit the wall, and that would have been catastrophic, especially considering that we're getting into the final lap now. Okay, at least the final face-off challenge is also average speed, so the good thing is that these are the challenges that don't make you waste time. Like, average speed essentially means do this as good as you can with whatever you think you need to do. So that's great. You don't have any restriction. You're just supposed to do it fast. So as expected, the final lap is gonna have the time turning to daytime. But I feel like that happened too suddenly. Like, that wasn't... that wasn't clean at all. Like, the transition to daytime would have taken a little bit longer to make it more reasonable. So here essentially, so the Enzo eat a lot of shit, and seems like the Apollo was the one getting the most speed. Well, the Apollo and the Sonda, those seem to be the two that matter. Oh, that's multiple accolades. Well, not that one, I think. Go to level 5. Alright. That was long. Now we have night lights. Oh, and it shows the roofless cars, right? Well, last time we did it with the BAC Mono. Wait, I never used this one, did I? This bull thing. Well, the top speed seems to be garbage, so I don't think I should either. It's the worst top speed, and by a long shot. Hold up, what are the objectives? Lap time and cornering face-off. I'm just gonna go with the Caterham. Especially because if I get it to level 10, I unlock more of the... well, more of the special skins that I don't have with any other car, so might as well try to go for it. Just like last time, I expect the aerial to essentially be the fastest car that the CPU has, but I'm pretty sure that the Caterham should be enough to compete. Could not be a problem. So this is the cornering phase, so well, you have 4 laps to get it, so even if you fail here, you have a lot of attempts to get it right. And this was pretty easy as well. Mostly because the AI cooperates. It actually goes at a speed that you would expect. This is another one of those races with the very nice lightning effect. Thankfully, this Caterham is so sweet to drive. It really is. If I had picked that one that has very good acceleration but terrible top speed, I mean, in a track like this, it probably wouldn't struggle as much as it could, but it still will be a pretty bad idea regardless. See aligning from the front though, it looks so nice. Ah, shit. What's the guy on second place? Well, with how dark it is, it's hard to tell. Guess we will see now. Oh, I think it's another Caterham. For how little I saw him at least. No, it's actually not. Which one? Is it the VAC mono? It will be very weird to think that it's the other guy, like the bull. It kinda looks like it though. So maybe picking that one wouldn't have been that bad of an idea after all. No, I think that this is just the AI doing stuff that it shouldn't. I think it would have been that good. That almost was a penalty. Right, so we have 3 other cars. It was the VAC mono. Okay. Oh, the other one, I guess it's a DLC that still hasn't appeared at this point because none of the AI used it, so yeah. I guess it's another DLC. Well, it might even be a DLC that I don't have, but if I were to pick it here, it would clearly get humiliated by everyone else. So yeah, not precisely a good idea. Oh, this is the garden track, I think. It's pretty nice with those decorations, those light decorations. Definitely looks pretty nice. The objective, aside from top 3 finish like it usually is getting a time of 1 minute 40. Well, this also seems like races that are relatively long. Like, they are not extremely long, but definitely have a longer length than average. That was free to get that time even on the very first lap. That tends to be slower. Yeah, this Caterham is really something else. Absolutely unbeatable when it comes to being nice to drive and, well, being competitively fast, at least in this super category. And I guess I don't remember how it fares against like other supercars that are not like the ruthless ones that you see here. I don't know if it can actually compete, because if it's like the Caterham of a lower category, it definitely cannot compete. Was even faster. Basically 5 seconds and a half behind or well, I guess ahead of the required time. And also my opponents seem to be pretty far, so I guess the AI is not very ready for this track, because I'm absolutely demolishing them. And in the previous one they were very close, so I'm surprised that that's also not the case here, since, I mean, this is a very different track than the previous one. The previous one didn't really have that many slow corners, while this one does, so maybe that's what the other competitors are struggling with? I don't know why they would struggle with that, right? I mean, if anything, some of them, like the Ariel Atom, have better acceleration than I do, so they should not be struggling with corners like this, right? But, I mean, there is no doubt that I'm leaving them in the dust pretty much with no resistance whatsoever from them. Well, I'm glad. There aren't many occasions that are like this, where you dominate for this much. It used to happen on like the first tours, but since they were mostly introductory tours, they probably didn't want the difficulty to be that high, so they allow you to win relatively for free. But then here, this is like a tour that is quite far into the game, and the track is nothing special, but I'm obliterating everyone. I'm pretty sure that at this rate the time difference with the second place when I cross the finish line will be 10 full seconds, which is absolutely crazy to say the least. Very, very crazy. In fact. Actually, 12 seconds almost. Are these guys even trying? They don't really seem like they are. I'll take it. That was probably the most free race I had in a while. Like, that was almost 14 seconds of advantage. And I know that the Caterham is pretty nice, but I will feel ashamed. So yeah, we got the flip paint shows. It might be the first car that I get it for braving the elements. Wouldn't that be a proper name for an event in the Elements tour? Though now they make you use this car, so if this car is a DLC, it had to be introduced here no matter what, right? It just had to. And it only has black, gray, and white as proper colors. Pretty funny. They're braving the elements. The elements that are pretty much just the rain. Apparently this thing has insanely good acceleration. A little bit stiff on the steering wheel though. I'm surprised that I already am getting so much advantage. Is it because I cut the corner? I mean, I got a penalty, so I guess the penalty didn't matter too much. Ah, damn it. Alright, so that's what happens when you oversteer. Ironically, this is still good enough to be in front of the top ghosts, so I don't really know what these ghosts were doing. Were they busy watching the rain or what? Because the fact that with a mistake as bad as that one, I'm still ahead, like something doesn't add up, you know? Something here does not add up. Pretty weird because not only it's enough to stay ahead, but it also seems like there is quite a difference. But I'm just like with any car that has a lot of acceleration but low top speed, it maxes out the tachometer pretty quickly. I feel like that should blow up the engine. I know why it doesn't do it in this game, but I don't think the engine would like that in real life. So, you remember that other time trial that I say that was the most free one? I feel like scratch that, this one is the most free one. So I got 6.5 seconds of advantage after a very big accident. Would have been 10 seconds without it, so I don't think it gets much more free than that. That was extremely free. Weird. Oh, and we're gonna be using the bull again. And they really want you to use this shit, huh? I don't particularly mind, but I mean, having a car with very fast acceleration is nice, but I feel like, you know, Since most tracks have long straights, this car will struggle in all of them. Well, not if it is in tracks like this one that are very short at least. An objective like that is not gonna be very hard to get with a car with good acceleration, because even if the corner exit is terrible before the main straight, you are most likely gonna reach that speed no matter what. At least one thing about this tour is that it had that very interesting 13 lap event. Because making all the races nighttime, I don't think it's like a very interesting gimmick at all. But that one event was very interesting. I think that just for that, it's a tour worth remembering. I still don't think it surpasses Elements though. But at the same time, considering that there are so many random events that just have rain, it's like Elements doesn't feel that exclusive when you see rain outside of it so frequently, but I did think that some of the events were cool, and especially that a lot of the tracks look very nice with the rain. Okay. And that was a clean event, really? I don't believe you. You are telling me that I didn't have a collision with any car? I really don't believe you. Hey, if you say so, I guess I gotta believe you. One way or another. So it seems that they specifically pick tracks that don't have long straights, because otherwise it will easily showcase the fact that like this car struggles a lot with that. Well, in the time trial they did have that track with the long straight, which is why I was even able to see that. It's whatever. So this track seems longer than the previous one, even if it is still quite close and probably relatively short compared to most other tracks. It's still probably longer. That was good enough for average speed. Yeah, I mean, considering that one lap is more than a minute, it is slightly longer than the previous one, but not by a lot. Hey, come on. It's not like I'm breaking that much there. These guys definitely don't mind hitting me like it's nothing. Well, the previous one was a clean event, but yeah, this one already, with those collisions, it's clearly not gonna be one. Also, when you customize your avatar, you know that you can completely change the face of your avatar. I wonder if you can also change the helm. See, for example, this helm is red, and with a car like this that is all black, it sticks out like a sore thumb, right? Like, doesn't match at all. You aren't breaking that much, but you sure are about to start breaking that much. Correct. They are about to break me. I think that they are just jealous, you know? They are just jealous that differently from them I have a clean paint. They all have very ugly decals with, you know, logos and weird stripes and all of that, while my car is fully clean. So they are like, okay, I'll show you who's clean, and then they no longer, you know, make it. They no longer make me have a clean paint because it has those bruises there on the rear left. Because they cannot stand the fact that I'm not like them. That I don't have a special design. It's pure jealousy. Or well, envy, whatever word is the fitting one. Same shit. Okay, that worked. That was something. And honestly, these races didn't feel hard at any moment, but at least it was nice to test the car more. But yeah, it's a typical car with good acceleration, I guess. Alone in the Dark. Are you allowed to do that? That's the name of a video game. Well, a series of video games. Like, they have like 5 or 6 games in the series, if not more. Well, I'm assuming it's not trademark. Like, Alone in the Dark is a common phrase, common expression. So they cannot trademark common expressions, I'm assuming. I don't want to use this anniversary edition. Or wait, what about this one? This one has a rear wing. So honestly, dude, these 4 are supposed to be different cars and they mostly look like the same shit. Not very different, it seems. I could use... Actually, I don't know. There are some pretty nice colors in here. What about this one? You talked about that series on stream before. Well, I do remember watching my sister play Alone in the Dark 4 on the PlayStation 1. That game, I remember that it traumatized me quite a bit. Not because it has anything out of the ordinary, but I think it was just a little bit too much for little me. I mean, it's the typical... Like, the best comparison you can have is the classic Resident Evil games. It's mostly like that. Though it focuses more on story rather than combat. But yeah, that game... The problem with games like that is that it's very hard to beat them without a guide. Like, to know exactly what to do or where to go, they kinda suck for that. It's kind of like playing a Zelda game, except that it's horror, right? It's like Majora's Mask, but if it was actually properly well made. That's what Alone in the Dark is. I'm just kidding. But yeah, the closest example you have is Resident Evil. At least for that one, or Alone in the Dark 4. I'm pretty sure that the first Alone in the Dark, before that one, were closer to a graphical adventure rather than a, you know, fixed camera survival shooter. I think that I fucked up. I need 13,000. That's not enough. But I was about to say that I think the first ones are graphic adventures more than survival shooters. But then shooters is... I'm using shooters in a very loose sense because we're talking about fixed camera shooters. I think that barely even count as shooters. I mean, yeah, theoretically they are shooters because you're shooting stuff, I guess, but... yeah. I guess the proper genre will be survival horror. If you want to call it one way, it will be like that. And especially survival because, I mean, aside from obviously getting killed by the enemies, just like Resident Evil, you have limited resources, like you have limited ammo. In fact, you know, something pretty funny that I'm pretty sure Resident Evil also has, you have limited saves. Now you find items throughout the game that allow you to save, but, you know, they are limited, like you don't have an unlimited amount of those items. I think in Resident Evil, what you have is ink, right, for the typewriter to save. Well, in Alone in the Dark 4, you have like an amulet that you collect them and you save. I think you can save wherever you want, differently from needing to be on a safe room, like Resident Evil. But yeah, they are limited, of course. Midnight Trophy. Oh, and you get to pick between quite a bit of cars here. Man, I really want to pick this one. Like, I want to pick the Lotus, but it really sucks on top speed. Fuck. What are the objectives? Yeah, I promise that some of these objectives might require a better car than this. Well, against my better judgment, I'll use this. But just keep in mind this is a very bad idea. Also, then this has a lot of color. I'm gonna pick the default one because I like it. Now that I think about it, that race that I was mentioning at the beginning of the stream that I had in Gran Turismo 4, I can't remember if it was against this Lotus, like it was the Vanquish against this Lotus, or if it was an Esprit. It might have been this one. I don't know. Really don't know which one it was. So what this car apparently excels at is acceleration. But as I already say multiple times, this game puts a lot of emphasis in long straights. And with long straights, if your top speed is not the same as the other cars, you're not gonna go anywhere. Like, you're gonna get overtaken like it's nothing. That's not good, obviously. This might be a mistake. Maybe not so much for not winning. I feel like at the end of the day, you can reach the AI pretty easily. But I think that it's mostly for the objectives on the next races that involve getting a specific time. Obviously, this cornering face-off is not a problem because, I mean, any car can do that. But yeah, this is where the problem will start. Because this is gonna be a long straight and you cannot keep up. Though that car in front of me is a Caterham. That model of Caterham is not gonna keep up either. Like that specific Caterham is supposed to be slow. Yeah. The one that I have behind me though is another Lotus or which one it is. Because I think it's not the Caterham, right? The Caterham got fucked after that collision, I'm pretty sure. No, it is the Caterham. That guy is cheating. Hey, that Caterham doesn't have good top speed. Which is the reason why I keep not picking it. Unless it's like the only option, obviously. It's also gonna be the last championship of today's stream. Since we will be finishing this tour, we can leave tomorrow's tour for, well, for tomorrow, obviously. That's the point. Yeah, tomorrow's starting tour is fantastic. It's the Lamborghini tour. I mean, it's fantastic simply because it features Lamborghinis, obviously. Why else would it be? Yeah, for some reason, the Caterham is able to somehow survive this. I don't know exactly how, but it can do it with no issues. It is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, if anything, that's better, because if it's another car with bad top speed, it means that unless I make mistakes, I shouldn't get overtaken. It's a shame though that, well, as expected from the tour, it's gonna be nighttime, but I really wanted to see the color of this car in full glory. But unfortunately, here it kinda looks like a dark blue, right? Like if you look at this car and it's like, oh, it's a dark blue car. No, it's not dark blue. It's a very shiny, bright blue. In nighttime you wouldn't know. Uh-oh. Okay, that could have been catastrophic, because bouncing off that wall into the other wall would have basically made me lose the race easily. Okay, so yeah, the Caterham got second place and the other Lotus got third place. So maybe picking the Lotus wasn't a bad idea, and in fact, the Bentley ended up getting last place, so, which was one of my ideas aside from the Aston Martin Vanquish. Wow, that's very dark. That's quite dark. Oh, we're definitely maxing out the top speed. No, oh, it has a 6th gear. I was not expecting that. It was gonna be 5 gears, but no. It has 6. That's pretty nice. Oof. Dangerous drift. Hello. And here we have rain and lightning to make things more exciting. Okay, unfortunately this one that is out to come here is... Well, it's not that long of a straight. I thought it was longer until I saw that very slow corner that is approaching. You know, it's not that bad. And also, more importantly, was able to get the lap objective on the first lap. So I think I was overly worrying about this car. It actually does very well. And that was a clean lap, believe it or not. Okay, this is when it probably will start struggling keeping up. Like, that main straight seems to be quite long. Unfortunately, I impacted the track. I wanted to do a clean race, but I guess not. Something that is very surprising is having the first lap be a clean lap, because you have to overtake everyone and then, you know, how to do it without hitting them. That's very hard to do. Here, unfortunately, having the pressure of the guy behind me made me crash against the wall. But in most cases, if you're able to get a clean lap on the first lap and you are on the lead on the second one, that essentially means that you will get a clean race. In most cases, that's gonna be the result, obviously assuming that you drive well enough, right? Which could or could not happen. Here, the guy in second place seems like he will always be harassing me. That's why I end up crashing with that, because I feel like if I just, like, you know, brake earlier, I'm gonna get overtaken. Well, I got overtaken anyways. So that car is supposed to be the Aston Martin Zagato, right? I think. It makes sense that he's faster than me. Yeah, I won't allow you to win. I'll tell you that. Also, lots of linings in this race. That's pretty cool. Lots and lots of them. It's a shame though, because I could have easily gotten a clean... Oh, never mind, that's a shower. Or maybe it was a Zagato and it crashed and got into 5th place. I'm pretty sure that it said Zagato on the back of the car. I don't know. But on this face-off shouldn't be a problem, because it's the typical average face-off with low requirement. And when you have a low requirement with a car that has good acceleration, it's essentially the best type of car that you can use for this. Yeah, and it keeps raining on here. I would assume that the cliche here is that at the end of this race it's gonna be daytime, right? Like, it's probably gonna be daytime and it's gonna stop raining or some shit like that. Or is it actually gonna be nighttime with rain throughout the whole thing? I wonder. Any possibilities? The idea here is that the average speed face-off is in the uphill hairpin zone. no worries. Well, in fact, if I had picked any other car with worse acceleration, ironically that face-off could have been harder. Oops, my bad. Thankfully I had that other car next to me to stop me from losing control. A shame that the car is the one that pay the price, but the other guy is the one that pay the price, or whatever. Now, ironically, with this result, I wouldn't get all the stars. I need to overtake at least one more of these guys to be in the podium and get what I need. That's not a problem. But maybe the car that was behind me on the previous race wasn't the Zagato and was the Shower. I still feel that I read Zagato on the rear of that car. Yes, I was staring at that car's rear. I check out the car's ass, just the way it is. I don't see any reason how I could lose this race, because the straight here isn't even that long. Well, theoretically, if you include this... No, but this corner makes you brake a little bit. But it's not that long of a straight for the other cars to reach you like in the previous race. Oh, so I was right. Damn, how cliche can you be? So the ending of the championship is gonna be on daytime without the rain happening. You couldn't get more cliche if you tried. You are so predictable. Extremely predictable. Couldn't be more predictable if you tried. Unbelievable, dude. I cannot even be proud to say, ha, I called it, because yeah, no shit, everyone would have called it. Extremely predictable. Hey, being predictable doesn't mean that it's bad, it's just that something that probably was thought as a surprise wasn't really much of a surprise. So the Jaguars here seem to be the preferred car for the CPU, huh? Well, they got their ass beaten by the Lotus, so get on. Alright, so that's that. That's this. Oh, I'm gonna unlock a car at 45? No, I don't. So do you even unlock any other car? Like, in any of the remaining levels? Because 50 is the final level, I think. Huh. it's an interesting paint job. All right. So that will be it for me for today, and tomorrow we have we have the Lamborghini one. Ironically, somehow this is not the only Lamborghini tour in the game. There is another one, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one, guys. The Lamborghini Veneno is not the only one you have, obviously. You have a lot of other ones, so I really want to play it. But yeah, that will be tomorrow and not today. So, thanks everyone a lot for watching, and I'll be seeing you on the next stream. So, have a good one and take care.